This is the entrance of the City of Glory that I visited during the Chinese New Year in the city of Huizhou. Now, all these buildings actually have different things that you can do inside. And before you're able to get in, you need a ticket. And you can get, like, I mean, they have different kinds of tickets per what you want to do inside, right? But I got a ticket for all of them because I wasn't sure what kind of stuff exactly would be fun to do in there. Just you're just gonna buy a ticket for just one specific thing. You get in there and you're like, oh, this would be fun, and then you go back and get another ticket, and I mean the price wouldn't be fair, so I just got the ticket for all the events. Now walking up here, there's a beautiful fountain right here, and the building straight up ahead was the tourist building, which surprisingly was closed. Because like if you get there, maybe some tourism stuff, or you want them to talk to you about the place or tell you about the place, they should be able to do that. But amazingly, it was closed. So I decided to take a detour and walk around and have a look at some of the things that was going on. So while walking around, I found this rock climbing thing, but unfortunately, it was sealed off, so it was closed. I don't know why. And then next to it was a hotel building right inside the City of Glory. So you could actually pack your bags and lodge in the hotel right here and wake up so early and enjoy most of the activities because there were a lot of things to do, right? And if you don't come early, you are not going to be able to do all of them. So I think it would be a good idea. I don't know what it looks inside because I didn't stay there, so I don't know. Now, moving on to the back here, there was a large field with a lot of things to do, especially if you had kids. This is a great place to bring your kid for a holiday, somewhere to cool off. And I mean, it was pretty chill. This part actually looked like a pretty place or a really cool place to stand and take a picture because I guess the sun was also at the right angle. So I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. On my way back, I noticed these statues, and these were actually Zeus's daughters. You can pause it and read it. And then this was another statue right here, which was the um, river god. You can pause it as well and have a look. So the next part I was headed to was a place called Koala Park because I wanted to check it out. They said they had different animals. That is a tourist center again, which is still closed. I don't know for what reason. So this right here was the entrance to the koala park. And before you can get in, she needs to check your ticket and make sure you got the right ticket to be able to enter this sector of the City of Glory. So in here, they actually had different kinds of animals, but there are some things that I did notice that you're all gonna see as well, which I'm gonna talk about later in the video. So right here, I think this was a deer, and once I entered, I saw people petting the deer. So I was like, okay, cool. That means that it's okay to pet the deer, right? So I think I also went on ahead and did my thing. I noticed they had a swan, or they had swans around, right? So I did see a color that I had not really seen before, so I wanted to kind of get closer and get a better view at it. I don't know if it is a common color, but I haven't seen that color before. So I went on ahead and got here. I thought I was actually going to be able to go inside, but there's an actual gate, a wooden gate that is closed, and so you cannot get past that. So I stood here and took a look inside, you know, and then on my right hand side, there was I think I pointed at it, there was a swan with a specific color that is not, I don't know if it's really clear here, but like that one had a very beautiful color. I don't know, I think the camera couldn't really pick up the colors. So another thing I noticed pretty quickly was that this place was kind of like a mini zoo, right? Like a mini zoo where if you come to the City of Glory, you get to, I mean, have a look at some animals you probably have never seen before. And the name of this area is actually a koala park. So I was expecting to actually see some koalas, but there weren't any koalas at this park actually. So that was quite interesting. So at this point, I had looked at a couple of the animals, right? So I was standing up here looking down from there to see they had other animals down there as well, which I was gonna look later on. And then I had a raw, right? So I was like, what the? I'm like, what was that, right? And then I take a look and I notice they have a lion and a bear down there. So now I needed to go down the stairs and take a look. And I must say, the lion or lioness looked pissed. I don't know why, but I mean, it had a very, it had a very mean face. another thing was that I think because it was a holiday, a lot of people had already been here and bought food for their animals, right? So they're actually selling food. If you want to feed the animals, they have special food you could buy and feed them with. But I think because it was a holiday, so a ton of people already came through and fed the animals already, and people were still buying food, trying to feed them. So, I mean, it was hectic, but it is what it is. So just when I thought I was done with the koala park and was headed to another building, I noticed a lot of people had gathered here, and I wanted to see what was going to happen. So it turns out they had a couple of pigs that were going to climb up there and then jump into the water. Yeah, so that was why people were gathered there. And I mean, I stood around trying to figure out, is it something the pigs actually want to do, or they're just gonna like let them go inside. So it turns out most of the pigs actually just jumped in, but there was one specific pig that wouldn't jump, so the guy had to use the cane to push him and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was what the show was about. Well, the next building here had a ton of things to do, actually. Not to do, I'd say it's more or less like a museum, right? And it had very cool places to take pictures. You could see people right there, sitting there trying to take pictures. So it had amazing places to take pictures. It had, on the inside, it had loads of lizards, different kinds of lizards, toads, snakes, which you're going to be seeing in a couple of seconds. But I think the most interesting part about this building was the fact that it was a museum and it had tons and tons of places where actually cute places you could actually sit or stand for a very great photo. So I think if you're someone who really likes to take photos, this is a place for you. here they had some figures where people actually stood and took pictures. You can see the little girl in the hand of Hawk trying to take a photo. Yeah, and then on the inside they got different people. I mean, there were some people I was able to recognize on the first glance, and there were others I wasn't sure who they were. Either I don't know them or maybe I don't know. So the first person I noticed was Charlie Chaplin, and then there was another figure on this side. At the first look, I thought it was Jackie Chan, but when I or Jet Li, but when I got closer, I was like, no, it's not. So then I went on ahead and took a look at other ones. This figure here, or statue right here, was actually Mr. Bean, which I had to come a lot closer to be able to tell if it's Mr. Bean or not. Yeah, so yeah. And for these three F1 racers, I'm not sure who they were. That was Messi, his figure was messed up. And then Michael Jordan. I think they also had Brad Pitt. Yeah, so if you think about it, they had a lot of famous people there. Not, I couldn't recognize every one of them. Onto the next room, they had a couple of people here, but I couldn't recognize any of them. I don't know why, but I think they may be famous people from a long time ago. I'm not sure. Yeah. And then, so once I left this part, I went on ahead and went to a place called the Sea World, right? So, I mean, with the name, you can guess it's just about sea creatures and stuff like that, right? So, walked in and started looking at some of the fish they got, stuff like that. But what actually surprised me at this part was that I wasn't expecting them to have, a walk-in aquarium, right? So I was going through, and then there was a lady actually telling me that they were gonna start a show or something like that. And then I came through here. They had a shark. I mean, they had stingrays. They had different kinds of fish, actually. So I headed right to where they were having the show with, I think, a seal doing some tricks. Yeah, this was it. So right after this show, there was another show. Everyone was rushing to that place. So luckily, I got there in time to get or secure a place in front so I could get a better view. And these were actually mermaids or people dressed as mermaids, uh, swimming and doing some tricks in the water. Yeah, I mean, I was there to actually enjoy the show, but I couldn't help myself but think. So if this is someone's daily job, that means every day you gotta dress up as a mermaid and then get into the water like for a show. And I'm not sure how many times they gotta do this like in a day, because maybe they have like four shows. That means four times in the same day they'd have to, change and come back. Man, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But I mean, it was a great show. Up next was actually a go-kart circuit, but I didn't have enough batteries left or power left to record this part. They did have a haunted house as well, but I couldn't film that because I had no batteries left. This is how the place looked like at night. It looked really good, and I mean, there were a lot of things I couldn't actually do because I didn't go there, or I didn't arrive early to do everything, right? There was a snow place, but I mean, I couldn't because I didn't get there on time. Yeah. So this was the end of the tour, and until next time, ciao.